Hi, and welcome to Starry Time with me, Miss Liz. Today we are reading one of my very, very, very favorite books, like almost ever. It is called The Mysterious Tadpole by Stephen Kellogg. It is written and illustrated by him. I read this book when I was a child, and then as a grown-up I ordered it off of eBay, and it was a very special treat for me to see and find that whoever I ordered this book from had got it signed by the author. So it was just the most marvelous surprise to have a signed copy of one of my very favorite stories. I hope you enjoy it along with me. Uncle McAllister lived in Scotland. Every year he sent Lewis a birthday gift for his nature collection. "This is the best one yet!" cried Lewis. The next day he took his entire collection to school for show and tell. "Class, this is a tadpole," said Mrs. Shelbert. She asked Lewis to bring it back often so they could all watch it become a frog. Lewis named the tadpole Alphonse. Every day, Alphonse ate several cheeseburgers. Lewis found that he was eager to learn. When Alphonse became too big for his jar, Lewis moved him to the sink. After Alphonse outgrew the sink, Lewis's parents agreed to let him use the bathtub. One day, Mrs. Shelbert decided that Alphonse was not turning into an ordinary frog. She asked Lewis to stop bringing him to school. That is no ordinary frog. By the time summer vacation arrived, Alphonse was enormous. "He's too big for the bathtub," said Lewis's mother. "He's too big for the apartment," said Lewis's father. "He needs a swimming pool," said Lewis. "There is no place in our apartment for a swimming pool," said his parents. Lewis suggested that they buy the parking lot next door and build a swimming pool. "It would cost more money than we have," said his parents. "Your tadpole will have to be donated to the zoo." The thought of Alphonse in a cage made Lewis very sad. Then, in the middle of the night, Lewis remembered that the junior high had a swimming pool that nobody used during the summer. Lewis hid Alphonse under a rug and smuggled him into the school. After making sure that Alphonse felt at home, Lewis went back to bed. Every morning, Lewis spent several hours swimming with his friend. In the afternoon, he earned the money for Alphonse's cheeseburgers by delivering newspapers. Meanwhile, the training continued. Alphonse learned to retrieve things from the bottom of the pool. Summer vacation passed quickly. Lewis worried what would happen to Alphonse now that the school had reopened. As soon as the first day ended, he ran to the junior high. The students were getting ready for after-school activities. Lewis arrived just as the first swimming race began. Alphonse was delighted to see all the swimmers. "It's a submarine from another planet," bellowed the coach. "Call the police! Call the Navy!" "No, it's a tadpole," cried Lewis. "He's my pet." The coach was upset and confused. "You have until tomorrow," he cried, "to get that creature out of the pool." Lewis didn't know what to do. On the way home, he met his friend Miss Severs, the librarian, and told her his problem. Miss Severs went back to the junior high school with Lewis, but when she saw Alphonse, she was so shocked that she dropped her purse and the books she was carrying into the swimming pool. Alphonse retrieved them. Then Miss Severs telephoned Lewis's Uncle McAllister in Scotland. He told her that he had caught the little tadpole in Loch Ness, a large lake near his cottage. Miss Severs said, "I'm convinced that your uncle has given you a very rare Loch Ness monster." "I don't care," cried Lewis. "He's my pet and I love him." He begged Miss Severs to help him raise enough money to buy the parking lot near his apartment so he could build a swimming pool for Alphonse. Suddenly, Miss Severs had an idea. "In 1639, there was a battle in our city's harbor," she said. "A pirate treasure ship was sunk and no one has ever been able to find it. But perhaps we can." The next morning, Miss Severs and Lewis rented a boat. In the middle of the harbor, Lewis showed Alphonse a picture of the treasure chest. Alphonse disappeared under the water, and then he swims down and grabs it. Hooray! Lewis and Miss Severs bought the parking lot. They hired some helpers. There's so many great moments in these pictures. And when the pool was completed, all the children in the city were invited to swim. That night, Louis said, "Alphonse, next week is my birthday, which means we've been friends for almost a year." Far away in Scotland, Uncle McAllister was also thinking about the approaching birthday. While out hiking, he discovered an unusual stone in a clump of grass and sticks. "A perfect gift from my nephew," he cried. "I'll deliver it in person." Uncle McAllister arrived at Louis's apartment and gave Louis the present. Louis couldn't wait to add it to his collection. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the stone. The end. Thank you for joining me for the story today. Tell me what was your favorite part of the story or your favorite picture in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you really enjoyed the story today, feel free to look in the description below for a link to buy it for yourself. Bug your parents, get the book. Reading is the best.